On Tuesday, Russian President Vladimir Putin lavished praise on India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his Make in India initiative. Speaking at the 8th Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok, Putin commended India's efforts to promote domestically made automobiles. He said Prime Minister Modi is doing the right thing in promoting the Make in India program. This endorsement comes as a testament to the success of India's manufacturing policies under Prime Minister Modi's government. Putin also emphasized the importance of using Russian-made automobiles in the country, highlighting that it aligns with WTO obligations and can streamline logistics. Putin said, "We did not have domestically made cars then, but we do now. It is true that they look more modest than Mercedes or Audi cars, which we bought in vast amounts in the 1990s, but this is not an issue. I think we should emulate many of our partners, for instance, India. They are focused on the manufacture and use of Indian-made vehicles. I think Prime Minister Modi is doing the right thing in promoting the Make in India program. He is right." Prime Minister Modi launched the Make in India campaign back in 2014 with the aim of attracting investment, fostering innovation, enhancing skill development, safeguarding intellectual property and building world-class manufacturing infrastructure. The Make in India initiative is based on 4 pillars, as the government puts it, to give a boost to entrepreneurship in India, not only in manufacturing but also in other sectors. Meanwhile, the Russian president also talked about the India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor and expressed his support for it, saying it would benefit Russia by developing logistics. The IMEC project gained global attention when India, the United States, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, France, Germany, Italy and the European Union signed a memorandum of understanding during the recent G20 summit in New Delhi. This initiative aims to establish a massive shipping and railway connectivity corridor, fostering economic integration between India, South Asia and Europe. Putin, interestingly, said, "I believe this will only benefit us. This will help us develop logistics. This project has been discussed for a long time, for several years now." That's what he said. Okay, going back to Shri for more on this story. Shri, first, the praise that's been lavished by Putin on Prime Minister Modi. Of course, it is no secret that the two leaders share excellent relations. You know, even when it became clear that Putin would not be traveling to New Delhi for the G20 summit, he personally made a phone call to convey that to Prime Minister Modi. But what do you make of, his praise for the Prime Minister's Make in India initiative? I wonder, is he praising the Make in India initiative or is he thanking Prime Minister Modi for the New Delhi leader's declaration?
See, I think the fact, Neha, is that the Prime Minister of India today, Mr. Narendra Modi, has achieved global recognition for the way he has conducted the affairs of the country, both inside and outside in terms of the foreign policy. So there are a lot of global leaders who are, openly appreciative of Mr. Modi and his leadership. And there are some others who only grudgingly appreciate what he's done. But the fact remains that he is winning respect and laurels from pretty much every corner of the world. That's, I think, not in doubt anymore. Now, coming back specifically to the Make in India reference that Putin made, this is obviously, it predates, the COVID crisis and the disruption which it caused. But I think that was a seminal moment in global history and in terms of global businesses, where countries realize that you cannot be overtly dependent on one country for all your manufacturing needs. For example, China. China has been the world's manufacturing hub. So every little thing comes from China for most part of the world, certainly here in the US. That's something which every country has recognized, especially when it comes to semiconductors. So even for high-tech items and low-tech items, countries are looking for ways to basically de-risk, do at least at minimum a China plus one strategy, where, while they scale down their engagement with China as a manufacturing hub, they also alternatively set up newer destinations, newer bases where their products can be manufactured. And a lot of them are actually trying to bring back manufacturing within their own borders into their own countries. So that is a significant shift and shift that's happening. And that's something which, Mr. Putin's remark points to. In fact, that's something which Mr. Putin himself has done for very different reasons. He had anticipated that as he annexed Crimea in 2014, that there will be a greater response from West and Europe to his actions. Therefore, he had started building domestic capabilities. So a few days ago, we were discussing the apparent prosperity of Russians despite the war going on. So one of the reasons why Russia has been able to absorb the shock much better is because the domestic capabilities that the economy has built, especially in food production and also local manufacturing. So this is in some sense a vindication not only of Mr. Modi's leadership and the way India is conducting itself today on the global stage and within its own borders, but it's also a reminder that that probably globalization as a concept is probably on the wane, and now countries are going to look more and more about their own interests and less of collaboration, and do what is right for themselves, which means trying and doing as many things on their own, at least all the critical components of their economy within their own borders, Neha. So this is an indicative of that also, apart from obviously the complement at the surface level.
Right. One more question on this, Sri, before we move on to the next story. It's very interesting that Putin has expressed support for the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Connectivity Corridor. This project, as we know, was launched during the G20 summit in New Delhi over the weekend. Many are saying it is going to rival China's Belt and Road Initiative. We know that Russia is a very close friend of China's, and also this project has the blessings of Russia's bitter adversary, the United States. But how do you view Putin's remarks when he says it's great, it's going to even help us?
So I think that's the businessman and in Putin who's speaking. Obviously, this is meant to be a rival to China's Belt and Road Initiative, and this will truly transform. Although the details are not yet being put out, we know that this is a historic, transformative kind of a plan which has been hammered out, among the European, Middle Eastern, and India with the support of US. And this was announced outside of the G20 summit. But the very fact that it was done at that moment indicates the importance of this. So this is going to be a corridor which it's a rail, a seaport corridor with undersea cable. So we'll have not just energy and other, manufacturing hubs, green energy also happening along this corridor, Neha, but there'll also be a lot of a technology component to it in terms of an undersea cable, which is going to enable faster communication and data transfer and many other technological collaboration and cooperation in this corridor. So there is no doubt that this is going to be a huge boon for the countries which are going to participate in this corridor. And as a country which is pretty much, the largest country in the world, Russia. So it is like, going to benefit. It shares border with, China. It shares border with Europe. So it's going to be a beneficiary of this as well. So I think this is a very calculated kind of welcome which Mr. Putin has made, obviously keeping in mind that there will be significant economic benefits that his own country will be able to reap in terms of, the integration that happens with markets.